interesting to talk with our physical friends because you, we love you very much, have such a warped view of reality. It's so warped. It's like you have a big house and every room is beautifully furnished and immaculately tended to and technologically brilliant. It's just this fabulous house with this incredible view, surrounded by the most beautiful plants, and you have decided to live in the closet with the vacuum. And sometimes other people come to visit you and they look around your house and they say, oh, wow. Oh, I would give anything to live here. And you'd say, why? Why? Because without meaning to, you have practiced yourself into viewpoints that are depriving you of the fullness of all that you are. And we want you to come out into the rest of your house. We want you to come out into your world. We want you to find a way a little more every day to allow your full view of not just what is, but what is becoming. Because what is changing in relationship to what your viewpoint is, you see. Everything is perceptual. So if you are sick, it's a perceptual thing. And often you will say, no. It's proven by the tests, by the facts. There are a lot of people who are confirming this sickness or confirming this bankruptcy or confirming where I stand. And we say, all that is happening is that you are perceiving fragments of that which you really are because you are practiced at not allowing the fullness of who you are to manifest. So when we talk about manifestation, what we're really talking about is your perception of what's around you, your perception of your body, your perception of your world, your perception of your economy. That's the big one these days. So many people perceiving based upon what other people are perceiving. That's like saying, well, my mother lived in the closet and her mother lived in the closet, and I thought we were just supposed to live in the closet. And I know it's not rational when I listen to you, Abraham. I know that I could just open the door and come out, but it's not easy to open the door and come out when I've been in here for so long. Now, this analogy is strong. You laughed at it at first. Now it's starting to depress you. But the reason that we offer analogies is because we want to get your attention. We would like you to leave here today saying to yourself, I want full view. I want full view, which means I want to be moment by moment, day by day, up to speed with how the source within me is viewing life. And what we mean by that is you are so much more than these physical bodies. You are so much more than this physical beingness that you sometimes or even often perceive. You have source within you. You are more vibration than you are anything else. So we would like to convince you that this is a vibrational world. It's a vibrational world that is changing constantly and has already changed in ways that please you, that you are depriving yourself of seeing because you haven't come out of the closet yet. You're still hiding from the real reality as you are scrutinizing the limited reality. And when you realize that there is a bigger reality, we want to coax you over here into this vibrational reality, this vortex of creation. We want to coax you over often enough, speaking to you in reasonable terms until we elicit from you a vibrational resonance that then gives you full view. Sometimes in your human vocabulary, you say, oh, then I saw the light. Then I saw the light. And we say, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Then I remembered who I am. Then I remembered that all is well. Then I remembered why I'm here. Then I remembered who I am. Then I remembered all is well. Then I remembered who I am. Then I remembered how it feels. Then I remembered. And it's a visceral memory. It's a lighthearted memory. It's a all is well memory. It's everything is good memory. It's that it doesn't matter what appears to be through my screwy, limited, self-inflicted interpretation of manifestation. We want you to hear us and believe us when we say there are manifestations in your vortex that if you will hope for them and believe for them and eventually come to know them, they will manifest in full view for you. Have you ever had an experience of sharing the planet with others who don't see it the way you do? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been in a particular place in time where you were laughing and someone else was crying and you were standing in the same space? Have you ever noticed that perception is about what's happening to you individually, not about what's happening to you collectively? But if you are able to drum up enough attention to the collective from CNN does a good job of it and so forth, that the individual perspective is then skewed by the larger perspective, then you begin feeling much the same way, and then you begin having more and more of the same experiences. That's really what economic tides are about. As we've been visiting with you here in this short time, you've talked about 1 foot in the vortex and 1 foot out of the vortex several times. So you have this awareness that you want something that is different than what you have. And of course, isn't that the process of every journey? If you are an expanding being, and you are, everyone is. So if more is coming, then isn't less happening right now? Isn't that just a consequence of expansion? So isn't it always improving, which means isn't there something that can be improved upon? So this is where the complete acceptance and making peace with what is. And it's about putting your emphasis on where you're going. The emphasis, not your undivided attention. We're not asking you to not live in the world and not be aware of your body. But the emphasis on where you're going. The emphasis on where you're going.
Okay.
So when you say, I've got 1 foot in this world and 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 1 foot in this world, we say if you'd have 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world, oh yeah, there's that one, and 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in this world, oh yeah, there's that one, and 1 foot. In other words, emphasis on where you're going. We're not asking you to be delusional. We're not asking you to ignore completely what is. We're asking you to emphasize where you're going. Emphasize where you're going. And the analogy is annoying to most of you, but we love it, so we're going to give it to you anyway. It's like driving your vehicle out on the open road, looking out there, hopefully, rather than down. You never say, I would like a new Camaro and I would like a glass floor. Why do you want a glass floor? Oh, and by the way, I need no windshield. I'd like my windshield on the floor. Because I need to be infinitely aware of where I am, and I'll just take my chances on where I'm going. Which is exactly the way a lot of people live. They are so infinitely aware of where they are that they're just taking their chances on where they're going because they're not looking where they're going. They're not feeling their way, you see. The thing about your human experience is you have come to allow what is to dictate how you feel. So you've let the manifestation that matters most, which is the emotion that you feel, be dictated by things you can't control, by how it's stacking up. Do you know that collectively you are creating this world, so you share it with a lot of other people. So you cannot control what every one of them do. You can't control what any of them do. So if your happiness is dependent upon what any of them or all of them are doing, then your most important manifestation, which is the way you feel, is out of control to you. And that's what you've come to understand. You've come seeking the freedom from the bondage of the resistance, which is always self-imposed. That's what you've come to understand. You've come to understand that you can manifest joy no matter what now, no matter what now, no matter what now, no matter what now. And when you figure out how to manifest joy because of the power of your focus, then what happens? Then you become the deliberate creator that you came to be, that you were born to be, that you still are even though you've forgotten. Then you become one who is in control of your vibration. And when when you're in control of your vibration, you're in control of your point of attraction. So when you're in control of your vibration and you're standing in vibrational alignment with all that you have become, then the manifestation has to shift. And people who are watching you say, now that was just amazing. I've never, ever known anyone to do that. You say, well, no one wanted it like I do, and no one was able to divert their attention from its opposite current manifestation long enough to allow the presence of what is wanted to become. We want you to understand creation in the way that we understand it, which means you got to step back and take broader view, which means you got to stop being the flesh, blood, and bony person that you are and become the vibrational being that you are, which means become the emotional being which you are, which means become the really picky emotional being which you are, which means don't put up with anything that doesn't make you feel good, because if it doesn't make you feel good, you've got yourself pinched off from your power, and when you're pinched off from your power, you don't have any power, and then you don't manifest the way you want to, and then it's just a cycle of observing what is not wanted and then documenting it. Let me tell you about my life. I'd like to tell you about what's been happening. Maybe if I tell it to you in great detail, you will understand it clearly enough that you will help me move away from it. And we say, never, ever, 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 ever. Never works that way. Document it and hold yourself there. Document it and hold yourself there. Ignore it. You can begin to move away from it. Focus upon what is really wanted, and you begin to move toward that. Pretty clear. In other words, if you could listen as a collective consciousness to 30 days of good news about your economy, it would become a global reality. You don't have to wait for them to figure that out. It can become a personal reality, you see. You don't have to wait for anyone to figure out. You don't have to wait for the manifestation that you've been observing to improve before your mood improves. In fact, that's backwards of what deliberate creation is. If you can figure out how to improve your mood, your improved mood will put you in a vibrational resonance with the broader point of view. And when your personal point of attraction harmonizes with the point of view of the source within you, you have a point of attraction that is so powerful, nothing can keep it from being. But if you let your point of attraction get separated from that larger view, there's not enough action in the world. You cannot buck your own current, you see. So now we're going to start at the beginning of this just briefly. We know you've heard it from us, but in light of what you just heard us say, now we're going to rework that into the picture that you've been hearing before. So you were source energy before you came into these physical bodies, and the larger part of you still is source energy. Now, many of you want to say, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that part of me. I don't even remember that part of me. Don't talk to me about that part of me. And we say, we have to talk to you about that part of you because that's your source, that's your power, that's your clarity, that's your wellness, that's your energy stream, and you want that to be your point of attraction. If you're running around in this physical body and your point of attraction is just based upon the stuff you think all day, you're in deep doo-doo. Because you watch CNN. You listen to people complaining. You watch the evidence. When you let reality as it stands be the dominant reason that you're offering the vibrations that you are, well, then what happens is you launch rockets all day long, but you don't allow yourself to become the manifested receiver of those rockets. And so life just gets harder and harder, and you just get ornerier and ornerier. But when you understand that every rocket that you launch causes the larger part of you to become more, and it is your unequivocal desire to become a vibrational match to that energy, are you getting what we're saying? I'm going to start over because we really want you to hear this. So you were source energy before you came into this physical body. Yeah, you know. And the larger part of you still remains source energy. All right, we'll accept that, Abraham. And here you are physically focused, mixing it up. Now, we're not for a moment implying that as you are physically focused that you're leaving behind all of that source energy. In fact, in the beginning, you don't leave it behind. In the beginning, you are that source energy. Your parents and those who surround you sort of grind it out of you over time as they encourage you or force you to face reality. But that larger part of you remains to some degree, always, no matter how much you pinch it off by facing reality. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. It really has been co-creating of it today.